Hello students, we are going to start the chapter states of matter. Okay, when I am saying states of matter, how does this matter exist in different states, that is the solid, liquid and gaseous form. You have studied in the first chapter basic concepts of chemistry. Okay, but for your help I am again revising those topics. Okay, so if I am talking about solid, they are closely packed, isn't it? They are closely packed, isn't it? When I am talking about the liquid form, okay, they are a bit loosely packed than the solid. When I am talking about the gaseous form, okay, they are totally loosely packed, isn't it? And according to this only, according to this separation or the space between the particles, okay, the different properties also come, you all know, but basic properties which we need in this chapter I am saying to you right now. Okay, so here what happens, as they are so close packed, naturally intermolecular forces will be more, isn't it? Because they are close to each other. And one more thing, what all the particles are in motion, isn't it? But in solid, as there is no space, what they vibrate in its own position, isn't it? We have studied all those things. So here we are seeing basically what, that yes, if the space is more, the what happens, the intermolecular forces becomes less, and as the result the particles move apart if the intermolecular forces are less. So two properties which governs that the particles will remain together or they will have space, that is the intermolecular forces and the thermal energy. If intermolecular forces increases, naturally it will come close to each other. If thermal energy increases, if we provide heat, what happens? The space increases. Okay, so this you should keep in mind, and that gives the definite properties to this solid, liquid and gases, isn't it? Now, these intermolecular forces are very important properties. Why? When we are talking about intermolecular forces, it means it is keeping the particles together. Okay, and when we are talking about this intermolecular forces, this is not saying about a single atom. It is saying about number of atoms. So here what we are seeing, we are seeing basically the bulk properties, and this bulk properties says about the physical properties. Although the chemical properties will remain similar, but there will be a difference in the physical properties if intermolecular forces are different. Okay, so here you can see intermolecular forces. This was taken into view or taken into point. This van der Waal, he is a scientist, okay, he said about this intermolecular forces, okay, and he said that yes, these forces are there which holds the particles together, which gives the bulk property or which decides the physical property, as here we are taking the bulk, okay, not the chemical properties I am saying. So here first he said about dispersion forces or London forces. He said, when he said about this, he said that these are very, very weak forces. Why? Now just let us understand. Two atoms, okay, atom A and atom B, okay, they are electrically neutral, isn't it? But what happens when they come near to each other? What happens? If here you are seeing positive charge and here you are seeing positive charge in atom B. Why this happened? Because what happens, if here is the positive charge, here will be what? The negative charge. If negative charge is here, naturally what will happen? It will attract the positive charges. So positive charges come over here and negative charges over here. So naturally there is some force between them which tries to hold them together, isn't it? And as the result, you can see over here in this, you can see the positive charge. Here there is a difference. Here you are not finding the positive charge, because you all know that what happens, like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. Negative and positive will attract each other, and negative and positive will repel each other. Okay, and that is why the arrangement of the electrons and protons in the atoms become in such a manner that arrangement of the electrons and protons, they create some force between them known as what? London forces or dispersion forces. Okay, now coming to dipole forces. I said to you these are weak because here no charges are there. They are arranging themselves in such a manner that yes, intermolecular forces are arising due to the arrangement of the electrons and the protons. But what happens in case of dipole and dipole forces? When I say about dipole, I have made you understand that yes, if there is a dipole, naturally there will be a difference in the charges of the molecule. Like for example, if I am saying about HCl, naturally what will happen, this is a dipole, this molecule, it having a polarity, it is a polar molecule, isn't it? So here we can say here that yes, H is partially positive and Cl is partially negative. Why? Because Cl is what? Electronegative in nature, and if it is electronegative in nature, naturally it will try to pull the electrons of this hydrogen more efficiently towards itself, accommodating what? A partial negative charge, and this accommodating a partial positive charge. So if I said to you, we are talking about bulk. If I am talking about bulk, we can't say about one molecule of HCl. Okay, so number of molecules of HCl. Now see what happens here. HCl, okay, H and Cl. You can see here partial negative, partial positive charges, isn't it? Now again, what will happen? It will try to attract from where is this HCl? It will try to attract, Cl will try to attract what? HCl, isn't this hydrogen, isn't it? Because this is positively charged, naturally what will happen? This will come near, and what type of forces will be created? That is dipole-dipole forces, because both are having polarity, isn't it? If polarity both are having, naturally which type of forces will appear? Dipole-dipole forces. And when I am saying here it is partially negative, I am saying here it is partially positive. So what will happen over here? Here charges are there which are accommodating a partial negative and partial positive charge, and as the result this force will be more greater than that of what? Dispersion forces. Okay, now coming to dipole induced dipole forces. Okay, when I am saying dipole induced, it means there is a molecule, okay, which is polar in nature and another is non-polar in nature. When I said about dispersion, these both are what? Non-polar in nature. Here both are polar in nature. Here one non-polar and one polar in nature. Okay, non-polar dispersion forces, example you can take any non-polar, if you are saying like Cl2, okay, N2, these are all what? Non-polar. If you say dipole, I have said to you HCl and HCl. Okay, now coming to dipole induced dipole forces, what happens over here? Okay, you see this has got this one molecule I have taken which is a polar molecule, okay, which is having a permanent this dipole, that is one is having a partial positive and B is having what? Partial negative charge. And here you can see a non-polar molecule. What happens when this polar molecule is kept? This tries to attract the non-polar molecule, but when it attracts, will this negative sign attract the negative portion of this molecule or the electrons? No. I have said to you, they are like charges, so it will attract the unlike charges, that is the positive. So naturally it will take the protons towards itself, and here the forces will arise, and as the result it will also create a polarity in this molecule also, creating a dipole in this molecule also, and as the result it will also now accommodate a partial positive and a partial negative charge, forming what? The intermolecular forces known as what? Dipole induced dipole forces. Okay, so whatever I have said to you right now, here no bond formation is taking place, only what is there? There are different types of intermolecular forces which are holding them together. Now, next type of this intermolecular forces I will say is what? Hydrogen bond. Okay, so what is this hydrogen bond actually? Okay, here actually hydrogen bond arises in a polar molecule. Okay, when hydrogen is attached to a highly electronegative element like nitrogen, oxygen or fluorine. Okay, they form what? Hydrogen bonds. Okay, actually what happens in this? Here one is electronegative, too much electronegative than the other, like fluorine has got too much electronegative value than the hydrogen. Okay, actually this is a special case of dipole-dipole interaction only which we have studied. Okay, but here hydrogen forms bond with the highly electronegative elements like nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. Okay, so what happens in this actually, when this hydrogen and fluorine by covalent bond, they forms the bond, this molecule is formed. What happens, this is too electronegative in nature. Okay, hydrogen is very less electronegative in compared to fluorine. So what happened, this fluorine, I said to you, what it will do, all the electron clouds moves towards what? Fluorine, giving it a what? Partial negative charge. Now what happens to this oxygen? The oxygen I am saying, sorry, beta, it is hydrogen. Okay, so what happens to this hydrogen? This gets too far apart, and because of this, here arises a positive charge consisting of only what? Proton. It behaves like, or it seems like it consists now only what? A proton, because the electron cloud moves towards fluorine as it is very electronegative in nature. And what happened? If this is what becomes a too much positive, seems that it has only protons, what will happen? It will try to attract the electrons. Okay, so whom it will try to attract? It will try to attract the another molecule of HF. Okay, because here F, you can see what it is, electronegative in nature, and this is electropositive in nature. Okay, so naturally this will try to attract this, and here there will be what? Will be showing this hydrogen bond by what? Dotted line. Okay, it should not be a continuous line. Okay, likewise here also I can it can be explained. Here what happens, fluorine becomes too electronegative in nature. Here, which is the hydrogen of another HF molecule, what happens here? It is having a positive charge, naturally too positive in nature, thereby forcing this fluorine to come near it. Okay, and thereby forming a bond. I'll say dotted bond. You will say it is a very strong bond, but you will be making it by a dotted bond. I'm explaining you why. Okay, so here what happens, this hydrogen bond is formed, and as the result you can see here all forms. Okay, all the HF gets attached to its each other by this hydrogen bond. Okay, energy of this is 10 to 100 kilojoules per mole. Okay, here this hydrogen bond, as you are seeing, one is more electronegative in nature. Okay, naturally it gives what? This structure to the all the proteins and nucleic acids which you are seeing, you will be studying in biochemistry as well as in biology. Okay, the structure of protein and nucleic acids, their hydrogen bonds are present. Okay, so here actually what happens, here hydrogen bond is being represented by dotted lines. Actually what happens, when these come near to each other, the electron cloud becomes so dense. Okay, as a result what will happen, there will be a sort of repulsion among them. Okay, so we can't make a total line that yes, a bond has been formed. Once the repulsion starts occurring, naturally there will be a considerable distance between them. Okay, and so these are represented as dotted lines, not a whole line in case of hydrogen bond. Okay, because once the electron clouds come over here, what happens, their repulsion starts. Okay, and this repulsion keeps them apart. Okay, the more near they come, the more the repulsion will be. Okay, so this is all about hydrogen bond. Okay, I hope you might have understood all the different types of forces. Okay, even hydrogen bond, why it is included in intermolecular forces only. Okay, so good day, take care.